I remember the excitement my husband and I felt when we first moved into our new home in the woods. It was a beautiful mansion, tucked away from the chaos of city life, offering us the peace and quiet we had always wanted. We had packed up our lives and moved across the country to start fresh, and this house seemed like the perfect place to do it. For the first few days, everything was perfect. We spent our time exploring the vast property, enjoying the tranquility of the woods, and making plans for our future. But then, I started noticing strange things about my husband. At first, it was just little things. He seemed distracted, distant, almost as if he was someone else. I brushed it off, thinking he was just adjusting to the move. One night, I woke up to find him sleepwalking. It startled me because he had never done anything like that before. He was standing at the foot of our bed, staring blankly at the wall. When I called his name, he didn't respond. I gently guided him back to bed, but I couldn't shake the uneasy feeling it left me with. The next day, I found him in the basement, making loud noises. It sounded like he was moving heavy furniture or something. When I went down to see what was going on, he was just standing there, looking at an empty spot on the floor. When I asked him what he was doing, he didn't answer and just walked past me back upstairs. It was so unlike him. As days passed, his behavior grew more bizarre. He would disappear for hours, only to return with no explanation of where he had been. He started locking himself in the basement for long periods, and when I asked him about it, he became defensive and angry. It was like he was a completely different person. I tried to talk to him, to understand what was happening, but he would just brush me off or get angry. The loving husband I knew seemed to be slipping away, replaced by someone I didn't recognize. I felt like I was living with a stranger. One night, I woke up to the sound of him crying in his sleep. It was heartbreaking and terrifying at the same time. I reached out to comfort him, but he pushed me away, muttering something I couldn't understand. I felt so alone and scared, not knowing what was happening to him. I started to notice other strange things around the house. Objects would be moved, doors left open, lights turned on in rooms we never used. It was as if there was someone else in the house with us. I began to feel like I was losing my mind, but I knew something was terribly wrong. One evening, after another argument with my husband, I decided to investigate the basement. I had to know what he was doing down there. As I made my way down the creaky stairs, a cold chill ran down my spine. The basement was dark and musty, filled with old furniture and boxes from the previous owners. In the corner, I noticed a large freezer. It seemed out of place, and my curiosity got the better of me. I hesitated for a moment before opening it. What I saw inside made my blood run cold. There, lying lifeless and frozen, was my husband. The realization hit me like a ton of bricks. The man I had been living with was not my husband. I felt a wave of panic wash over me. I had to get out of the house, away from whoever was pretending to be my husband. I quietly closed the freezer and made my way back upstairs, my heart pounding in my chest. The imposter was in the living room, watching TV, oblivious to my discovery. I grabbed my coat and slipped out the back door, running into the woods as fast as I could. My jacket had been ripped off by a tree branch, but I didn't stop until I reached a neighbor's house, pounding on the door for help. The police were called, and they arrived quickly, apprehending the imposter who turned out to be my husband's twin brother. He had been stalking us, waiting for the right moment to take my husband's place. I was in shock, unable to comprehend how something so terrifying could happen to us. The police found evidence of his obsession with our lives and his plan to replace my husband. It's been months since that night, and I still can't shake the fear and betrayal I felt. My husband is gone, but I am thankful that I survived. I never would have guessed that moving to our dream home would lead to such a nightmare. The woods that once seemed so peaceful now hold a darkness I can never forget.